10 Facts about Thomas Jefferson. Who was Thomas Jefferson? The majority of people would respond that he is a founding father, a former president, or the author of the Declaration of Independence. All of these responses are accurate, but many people are unaware of other fascinating details about Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson worked to improve education, poverty, and diplomacy both inside and outside the United States of America, in addition to earning a number of political titles. It's time to discover Jefferson's contributions in these fields by looking at the top 10 interesting facts about him. Number 1. Jefferson wrote his personal views on poverty into the Declaration of Independence. Throughout much of his political career, Jefferson worked to defend common people from the tyrannical aristocracy. When Jefferson stated in the Declaration of Independence that all men have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, he was expressing his own personal beliefs. Number 2. Jefferson supported poorhouses. Institutions known as poorhouses provided care for people from lower social classes. Jefferson was adamant that poorhouses lacked adequate funding and had failed to fulfill their intended purpose. Jefferson supported and worked to improve poorhouses throughout his political career. Number 3. He served as a U.S. minister to France. Jefferson was a huge admirer of French culture. Its cuisine, art, and architecture captured his attention. He also grew to dislike the French aristocracy and to be dissatisfied with the level of poverty in the country. Jefferson is quoted as saying, "I find the general fate of humanity here most deplorable, after becoming discouraged by the extreme poverty in France." Number 4. He wanted all children to have access to education. Jefferson writes in his notes on the state of Virginia that every child should learn some art, trade, or business, but first, they must attend a public school for at least 3 years. Even if it required public funding, he wanted to guarantee education for all kids, especially those who couldn't afford it. Number 5. Jefferson believed in healthcare. Jefferson regarded maintaining a healthy lifestyle as important. Jefferson made numerous attempts to advance healthcare throughout his life because he believed that, without health, there is no happiness. Jefferson collaborated with healthcare reformers while he was in Paris in an effort to change the French healthcare system. He brought his love of health back to the United States and worked to lessen health inequalities among Americans. Number 6. He believed in self-reliance. Jefferson wanted to go above and beyond what was required of the government in terms of caring for the poor. Jefferson aimed to empower the underprivileged so they could advance. Many of his solutions to poverty were designed to address immediate needs and serve as stopgap measures until a person could get back on their feet. Number 7. Jefferson was a diplomat. Jefferson significantly influenced American foreign policy. He negotiated a very successful commercial treaty with Prussia while the minister in France. When he acquired the Louisiana Territory from Napoleon Bonaparte, he as president put an end to long-standing disputes with France regarding navigation rights in the Mississippi River. Number 8. He supported the French Revolution. Thomas Jefferson was a fervent supporter of the French Revolution and believed that everyone should have the right to freedom from one revolution to the next. Jefferson made his home available to the Marquis de Lafayette and other revolutionaries to hold meetings there. He also worked with Lafayette to create the Declaration of Human Rights. Number 9. He was George Washington's Secretary of State. The very first Secretary of State was Thomas Jefferson. He served until 1793 after being appointed in 1790. Jefferson was Secretary of State during the war between England and France, and he was successful in implementing a policy of neutrality. Number 10. Jefferson wanted slaves to receive an education. Jefferson argued in a letter to Robert Pleasants that Virginia's educational system should offer education to slaves so that they are ready for freedom. peasants was compelled to introduce this legislation by Jefferson. Jefferson believed that through education, the weak can become more powerful. These top 10 Thomas Jefferson related facts show how, even more than 200 years ago, the Founding Fathers were attempting to address problems that still exist today. The top 10 interesting facts about Thomas Jefferson reveal his efforts to combat poverty, promote education, and repair tense international relations. As if being the author of the Declaration of Independence and the 16th President of the United States weren't enough, Jefferson also served as its third president. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe for future videos.